What's up everyone? You're watching Epic Luco, and that's right, I am in a new location right now. That's because I just moved and I'm trying to get into adjustment to that, and it's a big thing for me in my life, so this is why I haven't really put out any new videos. So yeah, there's that. That's the reason I've been gone, for 8 months. So yeah, I'm back. So now that 2015 has come and gone, that we've seen some very good movies and some very bad movies, and fortunately, I'm here to talk about my top 20 great movies of 2015. Now, you may think it's a little unconventional that I'm doing a top 20 list as opposed to the easier top 10, but honestly, this year was such a great year for movies. I could not narrow it down to just 10. I had to fit in these 20 movies. It was so hard, so yeah, here we go, top 20. I do have a few honorable mentions, one of them being Pixar's The Good Dinosaur, a movie that I was hoping would be good. Hoping to God that would be good. And it was okay. It wasn't bad, it was okay. But honestly, okay for Pixar is pretty good. Visually, this movie is stunning. It is incredible to look at. It looks like they shot on real backdrops. It really does look insane, and it's worth the price of admission just to see that alone. Everest, a movie that I saw the trailer for and I was like, okay, that looks like a good IMAX experience. It was a great IMAX experience. Honestly, this is one of the disaster movies that gets it right, gets the characters right. Usually in disaster movies it focuses on the special effects. And there are some very incredible special effects in this, but the characters are the ones that shine in this movie, and that is something that stands out. Two movies that I was really anticipating this year were the Avengers Age of Ultron and Jurassic World, and they were good. They weren't great. I was hoping for much more from both of them. They have a lot of problems, but honestly, the good outweighs the bad, and I bought them on Blu-ray, so there's that. They do definitely mean something to me, and I'm glad I saw them. I will be watching them more and more, but honestly, I was a little disappointed by these, but in a very small regard. They're still good movies. So now that I've got my honorable mentions out of the way, let's start this list off with number 20. Paddington was a movie that I was honestly expecting nothing from. The trailer for this movie is marketed as the stereotypical, children's property film taken by a studio executive to make it modern, and it looked really bad. But honestly, I sat down and watched this movie, and it really surprised me. It was very inventive, very funny. It has that really classic British humor that really pops in the right moments. The animation on Paddington is really good. The acting is really good. Honestly, what a surprise. This is one of the biggest surprises of the year, honestly. Go check out Paddington. It's really good. Number 19 is a movie that I was really anticipating this year from one of my favorite directors, and honestly, in my opinion, it really did pay off. Crimson Peak seems to be a movie that really divided a lot of people. A lot of people saw it as a disappointment. A lot of people saw it as a masterpiece. I'm somewhere leaned a little bit towards masterpiece, as in I think it's really good. I do see the problems, and honestly, for me, it's all in the trailer and the marketing of this movie. They marketed it as a horror film. It's not a horror film. It's a gothic romance, and it's a great gothic romance at that. Guillermo del Toro intended it to be a gothic romance, but the trailers marketed it as a horror film. Completely wrong. If you look at it in that regard, it'll be a disappointment. But if you look at it as a lot of the people are looking at it right, it's a great movie. It's dripping with atmosphere. Great performances from Maya Wasikowski, Jessica Chastain, and Loki. Ooh, forgot his name. I'll put it up on the screen, that guy. Ooh. Overall, a really great Guillermo del Toro movie. He's still one of my favorite visual directors. I will love and see every movie this guy makes. What a great movie. Now, number 18 is a little bit of a smaller movie. Just show it. AntMan was a movie that I was really divisive on, because, for one, the movie's called AntMan. That sounds stupid, but honestly, it was Marvel Studios, and for the most part, Marvel Studios has really been making a lot of great superhero movies, so I was torn. And honestly, I came out really liking the movie. It has a lot of creative ideas. They use the powers to a really cool degree. They really don't pull back. It's a really cool heist movie, and I really did enjoy this. I enjoyed it a lot more than Avengers, which I did not expect at all. Number 17 is a movie that probably a lot of you haven't seen, but I thought it was great. Black Sea is a suspenseful thriller that takes place in a submarine. Ooh, it's so claustrophobic. It is so intense, and the performance by Jude Law is just great. Honestly, it really is really good. I really suggest you to go see this movie unless you're claustrophobic. It's not your movie, for sure. Number 16 was a huge surprise for me from an upcoming director that I expected nothing from. The Gift, directed by Joel Edgerton. Oh man, it was such a good thriller, like, so unexpected from Joel Edgerton. Like, wow, I really want to see what this guy has next. Like, alone in this movie, he's probably the best part. Really, he is. His direction, his performance, everything about him is perfect in every regard. Jason Bateman and Rebecca Hall are great in the movie as well. It is intense, it is sickening, it is such a great thriller. Go check out The Gift right now. It is so good. Number 15 was a movie that I was dreading was going to be bad. I was so hopeful that it would be good, and it was. The Peanuts movie is not a blue sky movie. Oh, that makes me so happy it wasn't. It felt exactly like the old Peanuts shorts. It retained everything, the spirit, the feeling of it, the characters, the emotion, the heart, the humor. Everything about the Peanuts was the Peanuts. They didn't try to modernize it. That's what made me so happy. I was dreading that they would do that. They were going to turn it into another Ice Age or Epic or Robots. Like, oh, I was so scared that they would do that, and they didn't. God, I was so happy this movie was good. Number 14 was a movie that I actually reviewed this year, and I think I might have overreacted a little bit. Predestination is a movie that I gave an A+. It doesn't really deserve that high of a grade. I do still think it's a very good time travel movie with great performances, especially from Sarah Snook, who took me completely by surprise. Her character is incredible in this movie. The time travel aspect is really good. But the way that they explain the world is a little forced. And it doesn't really come off as like it fits. It feels like it was just kind of flown by and it really doesn't add anything. So I didn't take that into effect. Giving it an A+ was a little too much, but I do still think that is a great movie that you guys should check out. It is worth multiple viewings. I have seen it a couple times now. It's really good, honestly. Go check it out. Number 13 is a movie in a franchise that keeps getting better and better with entry, and this might honestly be its best. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, the 5th entry in the Mission Impossible franchise, and it might just be the best one. I love Ghost Protocol. I like the other Mission Impossible movies, but this might just be the best one, in my opinion. Tom Cruise is incredible as always. The performance is great. He does incredible in the action scenes. All of the other cast is great in this movie. The action is amazing. Overall, it's just a great spy thriller. I really love this franchise. I really want to see it go on and on. Seriously, this is a great movie. Number 12 is a movie that I was anticipating mainly for its main performance, and it paid off immensely. Southpaw, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. This man is one of the best actors working today. He is such an incredible performer. He puts such emotion into his characters. He has such a raw way of acting that not many people really bring to these kinds of movies that much. And wow, I mean, everything about him paid off. But the rest of the people in this movie, Forrest Whitaker, Rachel McAdams, they were great too. The direction, the boxing scenes, the emotion, everything about this movie. Yes, it's cliched. Yes, but it uses these cliches to its advantage, and it never feels like it's melodramatic. It never feels like it's trying to steal from something else. It uses the cliches well. Number 11 is one of the scariest movies I saw all year, and it was not a horror movie. The Walk, directed by Robert Zemeckis, the true story about Philippe Petit and how he walked in between the two towers. We got to see this unfold on an IMAX screen. It was terrifying. Honestly, the last 20 to 30 minutes of this movie are masterful. Everything about him walking between the two towers is absolutely incredible. It is worth seeing on the biggest screen possible in the closest environment you can possibly watch it in. But that's not the only thing that's good in this movie. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is great. Robert Zemeckis was such a great person to bring on for this movie. He really brought the direction to a high point. The rest of the actors were really good. The story around it was really good. It starts out a little bumpy, I'll say that, but it really gets way, way more into the story, and I really got encapsulated by it. Go see The Walk if you're not afraid of heights. Number 10 was a movie that I heard some buzz about before, but I didn't really get it to end up watching it until the end of the year, and I'm so glad that I did. Alex Garland's Ex Machina. This is a sci-fi classic now. Honestly, it is so filled with great ideas, great performances, great visuals, incredible camera work. It feels claustrophobic. It is so layered. It is deep. It is so cringeworthy. Honestly, the ideas in this movie get really dark and really make you question the ideas of artificial intelligence, and are we going too far with it? Go see Ex Machina. Number 9 was a movie I was excited for seeing mainly because of the director and the DP, but I ended up loving everything else in the movie. Sicarios, directed by Denis Villeneuve, I think that's how you pronounce his name, and this movie was directed to perfection. Honestly, the direction in this movie was perfect. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful, in every sense of the word. Emily Blunt's performance in this movie was great, but Benicio del Toro was incredible in this movie. I wish I was seeing him more in award slots. I haven't seen a single mention of his name, and that really saddens me because he was one of the best parts of this movie. The story around it about drug cartels and people fighting against it, and the dark grittiness of it, and the deep underbelly of it is so disturbing and so dark, and it was such a good movie. Number 8 was a movie I was so excited for because of the director involved. The Martian, directed by Ridley Scott. Thank you God, this movie was good, because I was hoping that Ridley Scott would come back to form after quite a few flops. But this movie was visually immaculate. It was comical, very funny. I was not expecting that from this situation. It really does feel like it fits for this kind of story. And Matt Damon, holy crap, this guy was perfect in this role. He knew the type of character he had to portray, and he did it so well. He gave it bursts of life, and the rest of the performances were really great too. Everything in this movie was so fun to watch. I didn't feel a single ounce of boredom every time this character and the events and the visuals were on the screen. I loved The Martian. Number 7 is a movie I was also excited because of the director, and it ended up paying off immensely. Bridge of Spies, Steven Spielberg's latest movie, and it's his best in years. This guy is such a legendary director. Like, he is so incredible behind the camera, and in front of the camera, the performances. Tom Hanks, one of the best actors working today. Like, this guy brings so much emotion, he brings so much rawness and likability to his character that you don't feel like you're watching a performance, you feel like you're watching a character. And Mark Rylance, whoa, like, where has this guy been? This guy is incredible in this movie. He should be nominated for supporting actor. This guy is everything perfect that you could think in this situation. The story around it is just so layered and so palpable, and you feel everything for these characters, and it's so good. Now, looking at the lineup of all the spy movies that came out this year, I was not expecting to really like this movie, but I ended up loving number 6. Kingsman was so awesome. This movie is directed by Matthew Vaughn, the guy who directed Kick-Ass and X-Men First Class. I need to see more of this guy's movies. Like, he brings such a flair and over-the-top feeling to his movies. Oh, this guy needs to make more movies. I want this movie to get a sequel. It needs one. Taron Egerton in this movie, Colin Firth, Samuel L. Jackson, Michael Caine, like, every character in this movie was great. The action is amazing. It's over the top, it's bloody, it's violent, it's funny. Oh my god, the best spy movie of the year. I did not expect this to be better than Spectre or Mission Impossible, but it ended up being way better than both. And now we get down to the nitty gritty. Number 5. Creed is a movie I was not expecting that much from, because honestly, I have not seen any of the Rocky movies except for the first one. And I honestly think this is up there with the original Rocky, because it takes the character of Rocky Balboa and gives him more emotion and more characterization, and it makes it perfect. Like, his character alone is perfect. The emotion that you feel in this movie was so palpable. The characters were so palpable. Like, Michael B. Jordan in this movie, thank you God he was so good in this movie, because it makes up for another movie he was in this year that I will not mention right now. But he was incredible in this movie. The boxing scenes, the direction by Ryan Coogler in this movie, whoa, like, this was so incredible. Like, wow, I need to watch the other Rocky movies to see if this is my favorite or not, but I'm pretty sure it is. Thank you, Creed. Number 4 was a movie I was also so hyped because of the director, but this might end up being one of his last movies. The Hateful Eight is the last movie that I saw of 2015, and it's fitting because Quentin Tarantino has come out and said that this might be his final film, and that is so saddening because this is one of his best. The snappy dialogue, the over-the-top violence, the great performances, like the character interactions, all of the Tarantino isms are there, and they are in full force. A Western mystery. When do you ever see that, ever, and have it work out? This is the best one, for sure. Like, everything about this movie was done in a masterful way, and you can tell, like, it was so old-fashioned, and it was so gritty, and, like, I wanted to see what happened. Like, I was gripped for every single second of the movie. The Hateful Eight is one of Quentin Tarantino's best movies. Number 3 is a movie from a studio that I was hoping would get them back up in the ranks, and it did, and I'm so glad. Inside Out is nothing more than genius. It is a perfect movie. It embodies everything about Pixar that I love. Everything about Pixar that is original. Everything that is creative. Everything that is perfect. Like, this is a perfect film. Perfect in every single regard. The characters, the emotion, the ideas, the creativity, the feeling that kids and adults can get when they watch it. Oh my, everything about this movie was done to perfection. It might just be one of Pixar's best. Now, I had to think about these final two movies. I juggled them over so many different times, but I had to come to a consensus. Number 2. Star Wars: The Force Awakens, of course. It had to be on this list somewhere. Star Wars: The Force Awakens. My most anticipated movie of the year, and it paid off immensely. I was so floored by every single second of this movie. I was having fun throughout the whole movie. J.J. Abrams brought new life to this movie while sticking with the old formula that worked and didn't retain the prequels. Thank you, J.J., for that. The new and the old combined into this movie make it so fun, so enjoyable. Star Wars is back. It's back and in full force. I cannot wait to see what Disney does with this property. Now, I love Star Wars, obviously. It was my most anticipated movie of the year, but it just barely missed out because there was a movie that came out earlier this year that surprised me in every regard. In every single aspect, this movie was perfect. It is one of the most perfect movies I've ever seen. It is done to perfection. Every single frame in this movie was incredible. So, my number one film of 2015 is Mad Max Fury Road. This is one of the greatest action films ever made. Some of the most incredible action set pieces, some of the greatest camera work, some of the greatest direction ever put to screen. The practicality of this film, how every action set piece was real. Yes, there's some CGI backdrops, but every single action set piece, every stunt, every single thing in this movie was practical. And it shows that you don't need a bunch of CGI explosions and set pieces to make audiences love a movie. Do what this movie does and you will have a great movie. Tom Hardy is an incredible fill-in for Mel Gibson. He does a great job. He has minimal dialogue and he does everything almost visually, which is an incredible feat. But this is Charlize Theron's movie. The character of Furiosa is one of the best characters of the year, and that's because it portrays a woman who is broken, who is completely and utterly destroyed, but yet she's still strong, she's still independent, she's still awesome. Oh my, and that is the one word to describe this movie, is awesome. It is insane It is the best movie of the year, no doubt about it. Mad Max Fury Road is a masterpiece and should be watched by everyone watching this. Go watch this movie if you haven't. See it on the biggest screen possible with the most people possible. Show this to everyone. This is a must-see for movie lovers and just everyone. Everyone needs to watch this movie now. Mad Max Fury Road is incredible. Oh, 20 movies. I had to make a list of 20 movies. It was so hard. But I did it. Those were my top 20 movies of 2015. This was a great year. I'm looking forward to 2016. There's a lot of movies I'm looking forward to. Some I'm not, but honestly, that's every year. And wow, 2015's over. I can't believe that. But I still have my top 10 worst movie list to make. You will be seeing that very soon. So that's about it. Wow. It feels nice to be back. I can't wait to make more videos for you guys. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. Click the subscribe button to see more videos that I've done. And I'll see you all next time.